All right, so just to get into it, I'm up over $200,000 with a single stock, and I want to make this video because I want to give an update on this stock as we create this channel and as we move on with life. But I want to talk about how it changes me as a person psychologically, mentally, physically, and more so just I guess more on the first part of the psychology of making a ton of money. Now, I'm not wearing a shirt, so excuse me, but apparently this is my brand on TikTok. I post about this stock every day on TikTok. So if you don't believe me and you don't believe my journey, go to my TikTok. It's the same as this channel name, Growth Department, Growth Depth, whatever it is. There's a lot of fake accounts, but it's the one with no underscores or periods or whatever. So I want to keep this video as raw as possible about this stock. So I haven't sold yet, but I am up over $200,000 in pure profit with Opendoor stock. And it all started a couple months ago, I believe about a month and a half ago, when I was going up and down in accounts and I wanted to incorporate a new trading strategy, and that is hedge fund style, which is large positions, minimal trading. Now, a lot of trading are like the Citadels and whatever. They do multiple trades a minute, if not in seconds. And you're not going to compete with those computers and those robots and those quant people. Like, there's a reason they make millions of dollars a year. But what you can compete with is yourself. And the only thing you compete with is, can you be better than you were? And can you fix all the mistakes that you did? So when I found out about Opendoor stock, to be quite honest, it was during the whole meme stock frenzy. It was AMC, GameStop in 2020 was when, we had the famous GameStop and the famous Keith Gill stuff. But just this year, we had another run where it was Kohl's and Krispy Kreme, and Opendoor was one of them. And I found Opendoor as one of the more like favorable ones because it had an opportunity to be a viable company. And that is where the meme stock phrase of it became more of like a cult stock. And so this whole I'm up $200,000 position started because I have this thing called diamond hands, which is what everyone is talking about and the most famous phrase. And the thing I learned about money is just a vehicle. Like, it's just a tool to make you rich on paper and to give you comfortability in life. You can't necessarily use money in a lot of things. Like, you can spend it to buy consumer goods like groceries and bills and stuff like that. Food, water, the five basic necessities of life. However, you have to use money to make more money. And when I realized that mindset, I thought, okay, look, I'm going to start making large positions and I'm going to start trading way less. And so when I did that, I put around $70,000 into Opendoor stock at around $1 in the dollars. I forgot the break-even price, but it's around the $1.50 or something like that. And then you look at it here and you see that this screenshot is like not real. Like, this is a ton of money, and it's not like it's not like I'm taking it for granted, and everyone would sell in my position. If you had invested $1,000 in Nvidia or Amazon or Apple or whatever back then, they say you would have millions of dollars by now, but you wouldn't have probably held it. You would have just sold it like 15 years ago when you were up, 20K, 50K, because it's very hard to forecast how the future is going to be. With this stock, Opendoor is basically e-commerceifying real estate. So for anyone that's been pre-approved to buy a home or even trying to sell a home, it's very difficult to sell or buy a home because it's very outdated, it's very archaic, and the old way is a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of middlemen, there's a lot of agents, there's buyers, there's like I said, paperwork. You have to go into escrow when you're trying to buy a home. And what Opendoor is, it makes it easy on both the seller and the buyer. And so it basically e-commerceifies the platform. So they're trying to be like the Amazon or the Uber of real estate. And so when I saw this company, yes, I bought it as a meme stock at first, but I could have sold it when it popped at its high of like $3-4. But I didn't. And then I held it. And the reason I held it is because of these reasons that I started to look at it as a viable company. You could say I got lucky, or you could say that I did my due diligence, which is what I ended up doing. And I could have made another $70,000. Like, I could have sold in the 2s or 3s. But what I realized is this actually has potential. As of today, it is, I believe, September 5 or 6 of 2025. It is trading at around $6.67, $6.65. I'm not going to say the devil's number, but it's trading around there. And to think that it would have gone back to that price, everyone on TikTok, I believe I have like 15,000 followers on TikTok. Everyone thought I should sell. Everyone thought I should get out. Everyone is not holding. But now it's funny when you're on the right side of things, when it starts to go in your favor, everyone goes on your side. Everyone starts cheering for you. Everyone was like, oh my God, you were right all along. Like, man, like, you're the best. But it's like when it goes back down a little bit, another 10, 20%, everyone's going to say I should have sold, all that stuff. So to the first pillar of what I was talking about is the psychology aspect. It's like, okay, look, I could have sold, but I'm here for the long term. Now, this goes in hand with what I'm doing about making content about this and why I'm doing maybe weekly or bi-weekly videos on Opendoor, and I'll show you my position. So if you want literal daily positions, I post about it every day on my TikTok and Instagram, so be sure to follow on those. But by making this content, I was able to build really great connections. So one of the people that is leading the charge on Opendoor is Eric Jackson, if not one, our leader. There's three, I would say. There's Anthony Pompliano, there's Keith Raboy, and there's Eric Jackson. There's a ton more people, and we can get into the nitty gritty stuff of why Opendoor needs to put these people on the board and why they need to have a visionary person now with interest rates coming and Fed rates coming. There's so many videos and the economics of that. But before I get into all those videos coming up, I want to talk about Eric Jackson. I literally just DM'd him. Guys, I made a Twitter like 3 weeks ago. I had 10, 12, 20 followers, and I saw that he's very active on Twitter. And so I DM'd him and I said, hey, I know I'm a nobody, but I have a pretty decent TikTok following. I'd love to get you to help share the message of Opendoor on TikTok because there's a lot of investors there. There's a lot of buyers there. And, you know, they want to hear the message. And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand the economics of stock purchasing and stock buying. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm changing it to becoming less of a day trader and even like not even a swing trader, but just becoming a large round investor. Like I want to start doing $50,000 and $100,000 positions, and then I eventually want to get to $1 million and multi-million-dollar positions. The dream would be to borrow other people's money and use other people's money. However, you need a financial license and an education, and I just don't have that. I just believe in myself and my abilities. Maybe the laws will change, but until then, I legally cannot take other people's money and invest it for them. So I'm trying to do that with my own money. I've only deposited I believe 14,000 into this account. I can show you, I can pull it up, I forgot. But to go from 14,000 in just straight investments in 2022 to now in 2025, and I now have nearly $300,000. That is a rate of return that is unreal. Like if I was to show that to someone, they would be like, what did you do? Like, did you day trade it? Did you have inside information? Did you have all these things? And the answer is no. Like I didn't have any of that information. I just traded based on what I knew, which is buy good companies when they're undervalued or improperly valued, and then you can sell when they're more properly valued or a little bit too lofty. With Opendoor, it was a no-brainer. And when Eric Jackson shed some more light on it and did his due diligence, and then he shared his whole message, I was able to learn a lot from him and a lot from all the other people that are pushing Opendoor, not just to buy, but to make it realize that, look, this is a cold stock. If you look at its chart, like it's trading a lot like a cold stock, like Palantir or like any of those companies, because there are people in it that believed in it before the product was successful. Now, I'm not saying that the company is in great financials and it's not a great product. It's an amazing product. It's got some of the best technology, but the problem here is the financials. It was coming up through a rough time. And yes, the CEO Carrie Wheeler did her thing. She actually sold 7 million shares and made $35 million. Can you imagine she held it? She would have made another $10 million. But that's neither here nor there. The point of this video is how money is affecting my mindset in life, and that, look, if I can go up $200,000, $300,000 in 2 months just off a single trade, it's possible to make those kinds of plays. And yes, you need to have one thing in mind, which is risk tolerance and risk mitigation. But if you want to make crazy moves in life, you have to do crazy things in life. And to the normal person maybe trades like $500 to $1,000 on a stock just because they want to like dollar cost average, or they buy an ETF, or they buy something. That risk tolerance is something that I was trained when I was younger. However, as I was kind of introduced into big money and into the more extravagant things in life, you have to pick something in life. You either want more in life or you have to desire less. That's it. If you want to be happy, you have to literally just decide those two things, and then whatever your decision is, you have to stick to it. Right now, I want more because living in Los Angeles and living through these economic times, it's very difficult to be sustainable with life. So the psychology of money changed in my mind, where it's just a vehicle. It's a tool used to make more money, and it's a tool used to set yourself up for other things. When it does reach a certain amount, the price target for Opendoor right now was initially set at $82 by Eric Jackson, and that's where it got all the craziness. It is now being raised to 200 and even 300. And it's because of the TAM, the total addressable market. There's $5 trillion in transactions every year in real estate. It's a $35 trillion market just in terms of supply, and it's trading at a $4 billion market cap. To be the only e-commerce certified platform for buying and selling real estate, you understand why the stock is being talked about so much and why it's yet to be talked about on CNBC and all those other things, because, you know, they got to make sure that they get their positions in at a very sneaky price. The stock market is a loser's game. It is not meant for the consumers to do well. It is meant for the consumers to remain poor, actually. But if you're able to realize and shift your thinking and to say, hey, look, if I find holes in the market that things are improperly valued, or there are things that have the potential to be bigger, you're going to realize that the stock market trades a lot on potential, trades a lot on hype, and then it's up to you and your discipline to realize when you want to get out. Not when you need to get out, because it's like you only need to get out when you want to get out, but everyone's needs and wants are different. Everyone's desires and tolerances are different. So I just want to end this video here. I just want to touch base on this. Say hi to everyone that was a subscriber. And if for anyone that's welcoming or anyone that's new here, welcome. I am a holder of Opendoor stock. I do have quite a bit, as you saw by my screenshot. It is an insane ride. I have been holding this for a while, and I will continue to hold this. There are people calling me the Jim Cramer of TikTok, or the next Dogecoin millionaire, or the next Roaring Kitty. I believe I do not have the capital for that. And everyone believes that someone is fronting me, or Opendoor is paying me to say this message. No one's paying me. I'm just clearly raising awareness, and me and Eric and Anthony and Keith, hopefully we all get on a panel and talk together, and I could just be the mediator, and they can just take the floor, because they know what they're talking about. I'm just a guy that knows how to make videos, content, and that's gotten in this really early, and I believe I'm one of the biggest holders on TikTok. So this is not meant to flex. This is not meant to brag. This is meant to show you that, look, you can make crazy gains in the market, but you have to shift your mindset. Two things: risk tolerance, and second thing is don't get so like driven by greed. You have to have a strategy. And all these people that are day trading and swing trading, they all have discords, they all have courses. I don't have either. So if you have anything coming from me, it's probably not me. Maybe I will in the future, but right now I don't. So I just want to share the message. I want to be transparent with everyone, and I want to just make this video on YouTube and show you that, hey, look, it is possible to be up a ton of money, but at the end of the day, it's just money. You know, you can't use it for a lot of things. It's just a vehicle. And so if you have that mindset, you're going to be able to make a lot more.